any prison content creators?
Chad Marks, because I know about him. I got a big Sandy after he left.
He's the truth.
Yeah, he's a real deal. And he's helped a lot of people. The guy's helped a lot of people. Who else is there? Most of the guy with no shirt, which we call it Sammy the Bull. He talks about prison, right? But
oh yeah, what do you think of him?
Well, basically, they call him Sammy the Bull. I call him Mary Poppins. You know what I mean? Because I know him that. He's known. He's always wanted to put people down and stuff like that, and be like, "This was a nobody. This was nobody." Dude, you were like known for holding John Gotti's umbrella, and then telling on John Gotti. And when you're sitting here I can't say if he's lying about a lot of his mob stuff, but I know he's lying a lot about all his prison stuff. He says he's on lockup for 6 years. No, that was for your protection. Say that. That was for your protection. You weren't on real yards.
Well, he's not the biggest fan of mine. So I mean,
I seen look at stuff. I seen how you guys had whatever he said, and you said, and I actually seen somebody like in the comment section. And I'd like to say, if this person back in the comment section, rethink your comment, because he said, Jeff, you're happy Sammy mentioned you. Listen, man, that would be a first, because usually if he mentions somebody, right? Usually if Sammy the Bull mentions somebody, they're going to prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, Michael Franzese has mentioned me, and that was a lot better. I mean, he's at least a bit respectable. But yeah, Sammy is a guy who I think he believes a lot of these stories at this point. And look, I think it's almost in a way like putting him out there is a bit, I think, just a bad idea.
Something real quick about that.
Yeah.
With him and the guy that you said, Michael Franzese, the guy, you can tell that guy Michael Franzese, you like him or not, he's got class. You know what I mean? He's got respect, and I guess he's on a holy roller, not a holy roller, but he turns life around God, whatever.
Sure.
So this is how hypocritical the guy Sammy is. They're getting into an argument, and so Franzese pulls back and says, "Oh, that's baloney, Sammy." So, all right, yeah, okay, it was pretty corny, but he's like, "What?" First off, Sammy's not in the mob. He thinks he's in the mob. You've been a rat longer than you were a mob boss or underboss. So look, he tells the guy Franzese, he's like, what have you done? What are you known for? What is this? What is that? And you didn't do that. Okay. First and foremost, dude, that dude was driving around in a private jet.
Right.
You were holding John Gotti's umbrella. If it wasn't for, and then he's like, if it wasn't for this, and then he's kind of like coaxing the man, like, you know what I mean? Like, what have you done? Like, wanting the guy to say, if this guy has ever killed anybody or not, who knows, who cares? But like, the last person you're ever going to say, hey, I killed somebody too, is Sammy the Bull. You know what I mean?
I mean, not for nothing though. Like, Sammy didn't really kill anyone either, other than a child and a guy when he was like 20. So like,
the guy seems miserable. He seems a little demented, dude. He seems a little bit demented. Like, he tells a story about that when he's in jail. It's funny when he was talking about corn fed or something. Yeah, it was corn fed. Oh no, I'll tell you what he said. He tried to say to Franzese or whatever, like, oh, a real mobster wouldn't say baloney. Well, you know what? Franzese should have told him, no, Sammy, a real mobster wouldn't have Odin tattooed on his body from some white power guy.
It was a dropout, by the way.
Right. Well, yeah, because listen, ADX, he was in ADX for his protection. And listen, if you listen to the guy talking about prison, you can tell he's phony. And especially if you've been in prison. Then when he really gets down into it, he says it's so like, he really romanticizes his relationship with Cornfed or whatever this guy's name is, the tattoo. Yeah, I'm like, man, was he feeding you the corn? I don't know what was going on with these people. But at the end of the day, that's not how prison works. You see what happened to Whitey Bulger. It would have been 100 times worse for Sammy Gravana or Mary Poppins, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, see, he's telling people like, he's like, oh, and I got respect. And that you were on a protective custody yard. You weren't on lockup for 6 years. You were on protective custody in a hole because they couldn't put you nowhere because somebody would beat you up. You know what I mean? Look, when you come into, one thing is that you can't take streets to prison. You can't bring prison to streets, or else you're going to be very disappointed. They check the guns in when you get to the joint. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't, and even in this day and age, that type of lifestyle, dude, nobody's coming and sitting down because you call them in and going to let you walk and go grab a gun and shoot them in the back. Stop it. Who does that? Who's going to do that?
It's funny because even